American cities. So you can imagine how there's an enormous sense of history and one's place in the world could come to an end. I don't think that the Norwegian identity will end by having Muslims inside it. But I do understand the sense of threat that so many European societies feel. And I worry. I had lunch with this Dutch parliamentarian, Gilders, who produced a film called Fitna, and it was a kind of a unsettling experience for me. The film is propaganda. One can argue against Islam, and one can argue against the attack on European institutions. There are cases to be made that Islam and the West have a long way to go to reconcile themselves. But this was strictly made to stir up fear and hatred, and it reminded me growing up in the South of the attitudes of a lot of white Southerners towards blacks, and how threatened they had the natural order that they felt. They felt like the world was going to end if black people came into any kind of prominence. So I understood where he was coming from, but I also understood the danger of, given European history, how that kind of movement, that anti-immigration movement, could turn into something really ugly. And I'm worried about that developing in a lot of European societies.
Right.
I want to say one thing about the welfare state. I apologize. I do think the welfare state is problematic. It's wonderful that you can afford it, but supporting, idleness can be a dangerous factor. We don't have welfare in the same way that the Europeans do. In fact, it was Bill Clinton that eliminated welfare in its American version, and that's been a very healthy thing for our society. Yes, there are a lot of people that are struggling, and we have what's called a social safety net. It's nothing you would recognize because it's very bare, but it does force people to become. It requires people to work for a living, and that, I think, when that is true, there's less time to spend on radical behavior.
Thank you. I wish we could stay for 2 more hours and listen to listen to Mr. Wright talking about radical Islam, American elections, and integration in Europe. It's wonderful, but our time is out, so I think we have to say that that's it. And the publisher here now told me the price of the book that we can get on the way out is 350 kroner. But you don't have to pay, he says. I don't understand. You can explain it yourself.
Well, jeg kan ta den på norsk. Dette er basert på de som har cash. Flott. Hvis ikke, så er dette basert på en sånn tanke om at man også kan for eksempel gi et visittkort og altså opplysninger om seg selv, så får man sendt en faktura i posten. Så jeg håper alle vil benytte seg til å kjøpe denne fantastiske terningkast 60 VG på lørdag og få en signatur av Larry Wright himself.
Okay. Thank you so much.